Melissa, we switched up our recording schedule a bit here. I think this is kind of the first Thursday that we did it last week on Thursday, but it was like I don't know what I'm talking about.
This is how you started last week's episode, Kyle, is saying we record these on Thursday instead of on Wednesday. Because this is must-see TV, folks.
Recycling content. Same bat time, same bat channel. Oh, man. So here we are again on Thursday. Just, I guess, a reminder that for the rest of the summer, we are recording on Thursday nights. And then we'll go back to Wednesdays. But yeah. So this week we got a bunch of TV and movie news to discuss and talk about and all of that stuff. I do want to say off the top of the bat, though, as much as we always love talking about pop culture news and stuff, we don't ever really want this show to end up only being a pop culture like news. Like we still want to have like fun games that we can do on here. We have our trivia night coming up at the end of the month here. All of that stuff, share stories from our lives. This one in particular just happens to be very movie and TV news centric, because we'll be talking about Netflix Geeked Week, among other things, in a bit here. But if you didn't know, this is episode 193 of the Whatnots Captain's Log, where every week we thirst for the taste of legend.
We always have.
What was that?
We always have. Every week. We don't always talk about it, but we always have in our hearts thirsted for the taste of legend.
We're just stating it from here on out. We decided it last week that, you know what? We should just say it. Right?
Right. I don't know if our message is clear.
Who knows? But my name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined, as always, by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how's it going?
It's going well. It's very hot. How are you?
Ooh, it is real hot here, too. It's been in like high 80s at the lowest. It feels like, right? Yeah. It is not fun to be outside right now. But you just went to your to one of your plays, your outdoor musical theater.
That's right.
Things
you
here.
Remembered them.
How was it?
It was very nice. The show starts at 8:15, so like by the time the I want number is over, the sun's already starting to go down, and it is much cooler. They have these giant, super powered silent fans. They know it's hot. This isn't news to them. They're working on it. They cool you down in the audience. And it was a beautiful return to musical theater. As soon as I step onto that theater, I feel like I am home within home.
Nice. And it was Moulin Rouge, right? That was the one you went to go see.
It was
first?
Chicago. That's close.
Fuck.
That's close enough.
Almost. I should have known that. We talked about it last week, but I get Chicago and Moulin Rouge always mixed up because I haven't seen. I've not seen them, and I know that they have like a similar style, like in aesthetic style, or at least I think they do in my mind.
They're both very sparkly. Both of the movie posters had a lot of red on them. I understand.
Yes. Yeah. So that just in my mind, they occupy the same space there.
One's got a John C. Reilly, one's got a John Leguizamo.
Good stuff. I'm glad you had fun. That seems exciting.
I also, this week, I have to tell you about this. I went to my niece's dance recital.
Oh? How was it?
It was very fun. I didn't know what I was in for. She was one of like 18 little dance squads that had a number. She is 5. She's 5 and a half. Okay. And she's in, let me see, they've got it written down in the program, preschool gymnastics. So it's not like dance.
Sure, yeah.
They their number was basically like one of the girls rolled around and the other ones jumped over her like a log. They did some wiggling. She's a good wiggler, knows how to stay on task, very coordinated. The whole thing was space themed.
Good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she's wearing a little green dress and she's got a headband with one eye on it. She's doing the Martian boogie. Every group of kids from like little 5-year-olds up to like high schoolers, they've all got these sparkly spacey costumes and they're doing like vaguely space themed numbers. The space theme went very vague. Did you have a group of like 8th graders dancing to the Imperial March? Yes. Did you have like a bunch of really perplexed like 1st graders dancing to the Star Trekkin' song? Yes, you had that. I never imagined I would have seen it. But they also had like, there was a dance to the Stranger Things theme. Sometimes they branched out into sci-fi at large, but I wasn't complaining. I wasn't expecting this to be space themed at all. I knew my niece was going to essay the role of Martian, but I didn't know that was what everybody was doing. Everybody was Martian on this day.
Interesting. That must have been fun, though. Sometimes as kind of ridiculous as they are, and like not actual or like, you know, like children's plays or stuff like that. Like it's more fun just to go see them like in the outfits and to just be like, this is ridiculous.
They've no context for what's happening for some of these numbers. Some of them were like just like 2 or 3 kids, and other ones were like, we're going to herd in like 12 of them. They have to try and stand in alignment. There's one in the back who's like yawning, in the middle of yawning. There's one number where like all these girls twirl around and then they're supposed to like join hands in a circle and like spin around in a circle together, like a ring around the rosy. And like all the girls but one are in the circle and the other one's just still twirling on her own. She's not done. Just go more twirling. It was delightful. I don't know if just anybody can get into a children's dance recital. I think you have to have an exclusive invitation. But if the opportunity's available to you, check it out. I recommend.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Sounds like a good week. Sounds like a good week.
I love live performance of any kind.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine has been uneventful in that stuff. Didn't really go out and do all that much. I did go to the comic book store today to pick up some comics, which was neat. But
nice.
I put a new light behind me.
I saw that.
See. Yeah, it's
very green.
It used to be the one that was up in the ceiling fan above me that was like shining down on me in like kind of a spotlight way, but it wasn't a spotlight. And I figured if I took it out and actually just put it on the wall behind me, that would separate me from the background enough. And also just like give me like a nice halo, like right
a green halo
there. Yeah, exactly.
Slime halo.
Exactly.
Some sort of ogre saint.
Goes good with the red on this side and the blue purplish on that side there. So I'm excited about it. I think it looks neat. Man, we have a couple updates to our video version of the podcast. So we started to put in some memes and stuff like that into the podcast. I can hit in case I just want to hit Shapoopy right there, or stuff like we've had that one, but I
not a lot of cause to use it.
Yeah. Not much. That one may, and as we find more that we like and we want to use more often, some of these might get shuffled out. Or I might just add an extra folder in here and just like less popular ones.
Right, the B tier.
Exactly. Here's the one I'm most excited about. Ace Attorney. Objection!
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to get into more arguments then.
Exactly. So if I say something dumb, like we can trigger it. If you say something, I'm just like, No,
right.
That's not how it is.
You have control over this. I don't. So I have to tell you to hit the button.
So eventually that's the thing that I want to give you, to make available to you. I think there is a way that I can send you a link on your phone to basically a browser version of this stuff, so that you can control it on your phone and hit the things there. That's eventually what I'm going for. I don't know if that's exactly what the thing I have in mind does. But that's what I want. And then eventually, again, as we find more of these things, I want them to be interactive for the people watching the podcast live on Twitch, so that they can redeem channel points to do this stuff and things like that. I'm working on one right now to pixelate our cameras. So if someone wants to pixelate me, they can, for example, redeem 32 channel points, and then for 10 seconds my camera will get pixelated. And
like in a video game way, or when there's we're not supposed to see somebody's face on the news. Okay, all right, in a Girls Gone Wild way, I understand.
It's all the same kind of thing, right? Pixels. That's all it is.
Pixels can be used for anything, a multitude of purposes.
Right. That way, if Melissa, you are for some reason having internet issues and someone feels bad, they can pixelate my camera to do all of that stuff.
Sympathy pixels.
Right. Yeah.
I like that.
I'm trying to make it though so that they can pick between our they can spend 50 to pixelate me or spend 50 to pixelate you.
Select your character.
Right, exactly. So just fun stuff like that. There's a bunch of creative things you can do out there, and I don't necessarily want to steal ideas and just do the exact same thing that these streams I'm watching do. But I want to be inspired, and I might be like, okay, that's a neat one. Let me pull that. Let me mix it with this. Let me do it right.
I'd like the audience to be able to demand one of us be in black and white, and then we have to give a film noir monologue. There's one that I think would be really, really interesting. I don't know. I think it'd be great for a live stream. I don't think it would be great for a pod. It might be, but essentially, they would be able to redeem their channel points to read our minds. And it's basically a list of voice clips that you and I have pre-recorded, and I have a big list of them, and it plays a random one. You know how when someone's inner monologue is playing, and it's more echoey on top. So as we're sitting here discussing all the Netflix Geeked Week stuff, they could be I want to read Kyle's mind, or redeem for 50 channel points, and then on top of us talking, you might hear a version of me go, man, I really want to make ice cream pizza. Right? And that's it. You start talking about Gundams, and it zooms into my head, and I'm just saying, dental plan. Lisa needs braces. Dental plan. Lisa needs braces.
Exactly. So
okay,
fun stuff like that. So we have the objection one. We also have this one.
Oh, behave. Yeah.
Thank you.
Austin Powers, oh, behave. The little video clip pops up on stream here. And then I have one for the Yeah Baby too that he says, but for some reason the video clip doesn't pop up. It should, but it just doesn't. But
we
the
all know what he
sound is
looks
still
like,
there. Right? But we also have this.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love the idea of you giving me access to this soundboard that I can use at any time. So you and Ignacio will be talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi on the reactor core, and I'll just send you a bunch of Austin Powers.
Yeah, baby. God, yeah. Fun stuff. So we have some more of those. We're slowly building up our catalog there with that. But I say we get on to some movie news. There is one more kind of neat thing about the stream, which you guys will see in a bit here. But let's get on to some of the movie news. Melissa, what stuff do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the non-Netflix stuff?
Sure. The most shocking thing out of all of these to me, because some of these are like, here's news on something you heard about, or it's a little blurb about something that's like so far out it feels intangible. But this one, the Wonder Man show, I've heard nobody mention Wonder Man. I didn't know he was on the table.
So Disney Plus, supposedly, reportedly, their next Disney Plus show, or one of them, is making a show based on the character Wonder Man, who is not super well known unless you're like a big old comic book nerd like me. Melissa, I think he had a cameo in Vision when we read that comic for the review show.
Yes. I don't remember anything about him, his personality, but I know he like was a guy and then he like died and then he became Vision, whereas in the MCU it was Jarvis that became Vision. Is that what I'm remembering?
Yes and no. So he has an interesting kind of story that is heavily retconned. Things happened and then they said like, oh, wait, no, it actually happened like this. Oh, wait, no, it actually was this. So yeah, he debuted as a villain to the Avengers. And in his debut issue, he seemingly died. Okay. And then years later, they were like, wait, that's not actually what happened. The Avengers saved him. And they saved him by basically copying his brain waves into a computer.
Right.
And then years later after that, Ultron takes those brain waves and sticks them into his original version of Vision. And that's how the Vision is created. Later, it's revealed that that's not actually what happened. That he was never made from Wonder Man. He was in fact made from the original version of the Human Torch. Not the Fantastic Four one, the one from like World War II from the invaders. Out there with Namor and Captain America and all them there. Eventually, somehow, I think it got to be that he then did offer his brainwaves to like a good guy version of the Vision, because the Vision was also, he started out as a bad guy too. Anyways, he was eventually like resurrected properly, and he is back and he turned good and he joined the Avengers, and then he's one of the founding members of the West Coast Avengers. In his spare time, when he's not being a superhero, he's also an actor. He's a Hollywood actor and a stunt man. So he makes movies, all of that stuff. In the MCU, he was originally going to be in Guardians 2. James Gunn wanted to use him. He was cast, but never made it into the actual film except for background art. James Gunn cast Nathan Fillion to play Wonder Man, and in the background there is some movie posters that show him in there. So I don't know if they're keeping the same casting or not, but apparently
I would like that.
This is a thing. When
I Googled Wonder Man, when I did see many pictures of Nathan Fillion, and I thought that was a fan casting, but to know that it has a basis in canon, that one of the MCU directors picked his friend Nathan Fillion to be this man. I like the precedent it sets. I want to see him with this big W on his chest.
Yep. You're indeed. long story short, you can kind of count him as Vision's brother from another mother.
Okay, all right.
They kind of consider one another to be brothers, is the thing. So this potentially could be where we see White Vision next.
Oh, White Vision flies to Hollywood.
I mean, look, if he needs some new brainwaves, right? Like, might as well just he ends up finding this superhero who maybe feels washed up and is now a Hollywood actor and stunt man and doing that stuff. And the guy maybe never feels like he could have been on the Avengers or stuff like that, but then maybe sacrifices himself to give his brainwaves to White Vision so he can actually be a good guy again.
Oh, they share brainwaves. They're they're the ultimate synchronized dance partners. They think the same.
There you go. Yeah.
This is out of all the characters, because have you heard anybody mention, you know what Kevin Feige's got in his plans? Wonder Man.
Yeah.
No, he's been focused on Nova. We've been thinking about Nova. We've been thinking about Namor. Nobody's thought of Wonder Man.
Right. I'm not super interested in a Wonder Man show, but I also would kind of like, if this is an actual thing, like I kind of want to know what they have in mind. Like, what made them be like, yes, that's it. That's the show. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same. I barely remembered Wonder Man. I had to think for a second about who he was, but the fact that that's who they're pulling, I love the randomness of that. What is the plan? I must see. I must know.
No idea. Yeah, the report that I saw was from Screen Rant, and then I saw a few other people then reporting it based off of that one, I think. So I don't know. Who knows? Next up in our like Marvel bit here, they announced that a Thunderbolts movie is supposedly in the work, which is kind of what we had been speculating.
Yeah, we all suspected Thunderbolts was happening in some form, but I don't know if anybody knew movie. Thunderbolts, the motion picture.
Right. Yeah. The team members that people seem to think will be on the air is U.S. Agent. God, now why am I blanking on all of them? Abomination.
Cool.
Why don't I just find this
Yelena?
thing here that had it? Yeah, Yelena. I saw them mention Bucky, which was an interesting one.
Uh-huh.
Maybe he's babysitting them. I don't know. That'd be weird. That'd be a strange
just gonna
thing.
stop it. Maybe he's baby. He's the team baby.
Maybe he's baby. But yeah, so the idea behind the Thunderbolts is that they this is one of the greatest, for lack of better terms, tricks that Marvel Comics ever played. Whereas they debuted this brand new mystery superhero team, all under these different aliases, and then revealed that they were actually all villains.
Fun.
Yeah, and so I don't know if that necessarily works in the MCU, or I guess once that trick has already been played, right?
I like it.
Just like
give us. I want a team of entirely like old villains. Get Ghost in there. This is where Ghost should go.
Yes, that was another one that they mentioned would potentially be coming back.
She's perfect, because I feel like people liked Ghost, but she's just in that one movie, and it happened like between Infinity War and Endgame, and so much stuff happened that overshadowed her, and you forget Ghost, and you're like, right, Ghost.
Yeah. Where did I see this tweet that was reporting it?
What other old villains should we bring back? Oh, Justin Hammer.
Yeah,
I want a Justin Hammer.
I saw them mentioning him too. To be honest, I could do without Justin Hammer, but I don't know. We shall see. I cannot find this tweet for the life of me. Where it is, but yeah. So I think for the MCU, something that would be really, really neat is having this team of heroes who are heroes, but characters who are trying to be redeemed, right? Like US Agent really does not see himself as a bad guy. Like he's trying to do the right thing. His actions are iffy, but he had that speech when he was in front of the committee that was like, look, I did all of this stuff because you told me to. You made me do this thing. I'm following your instructions. Ghost used to be a shield. She used to work for Shield. So it would be interesting to see them kind of operate under this guise of like, all right, hey, you maybe had a rocky start. Maybe you did some things you shouldn't have, but under government supervision, since the Avengers didn't want to sign the Sokovia Accords, we'll send you guys in instead. You guys will be the like UN official team.
I like that.
That could work. That could be interesting. And then, of course, naming them the Thunderbolts after William Hurt. Rest in peace, and his character can now no longer be in there. But naming them after Thunderbolt Ross, I think, would be perfect, right? Since he was the one that wanted to sign the Avenger or get the Avengers to sign the Sokovia Accords. Could be interesting.
Yeah, I do like that concept. Like thinking about US Agent, he seemed like he was somebody who his view was not in the right place, but he did want to help people. He brutally murdered a man, but also did not want to see the general populace be hurt. Like did want to protect people. And I am intrigued by the idea of this man who wants to help people, but like knows he has screwed up, knows that people won't like him, won't accept him. So he signs up for this weird clandestine team because he's like, I have to go where I can go. I have to go to the team that will take me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So stuff like that would be neat. And it'd be interesting because we have seen Abomination working with Wong in this like mentor-mentee kind of relationship. I'm wondering if the Sorcerer Supreme is somehow involved in there as like part of the rehabilitation to like, at like, hey, we can put Abomination on the team, but he has to work with someone from the Avengers. Maybe Doctor Strange wasn't available, and so they're like, dust. Hey, the new Sorcerer Supreme, Wong, why don't you help out this guy here? And that's why we saw him in Shang-Chi.
We don't know anything about Wong's background. What if he just went to college with Abomination before either of them were a wizard or an Abomination? Like they're just old buds. They played rugby together.
In the same fraternity.
Right? I want that origin story.
God. Man. So yeah, that's all the Marvel news that we
exciting
got here.
Stuff.
We did, yeah. Got some good stuff to chew on. Miss Marvel, of course, is continuing. I'm
very
super excited
fun
about that. That show is so good. It's awesome. Go watch it.
Oh, did you get your Thor tickets?
I have not yet. No.
I did.
But I will very soon. Speaking of tickets to a movie, I totally forgot that Lightyear is out like tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah.
As of recording this, I just completely spaced. I thought it was like later this month or next month.
Yeah.
I don't know if we will have time. I would love to do a spoiler cast on it, but I just completely forgot. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll work something out. But in DC Comics news, we got a trailer for Black Adam.
Yes.
Which is interesting because he's not a character I know all that much about, nor do I really care about him all that much. Recently, he's been in the Justice League. Like, he's been a member of the Justice League in the comics. But I don't know. Like, the trailer looked interesting. I like that Dr. Fate is in the movie. We've known that he was going to be in there, but that's the thing I'm kind of most interested in out of this movie. Is Dr.
that
Fate.
James Bond?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But the trailer looks okay. Looks fine. I don't like. I don't know what to expect with this. It still looks like very serious action movie. It looks like there will be some kind of comedy stuff, but like Shazam had this joy to most of it. And it was really interesting because it also did have some moments in there that were genuinely scary.
Yes.
But it like Shazam is about a kid who can become a superhero. So it was so much fun. Whereas Black Adam, who is often like Shazam's nemesis, he's much more self-serious, and it's just I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping it's good because for the most part, DC has had some recently good stuff. Not bad. So we shall see. On the other hand, though, not only was Joker 2 recently announced with the same director, Joaquin Phoenix is coming back, all that stuff. But apparently Joker 2 is going to be a musical, and Lady Gaga is in talks to play Harley Quinn. What is this? Why? I hope this is not a real thing.
I gotta say, this is what we've been asking for. We're constantly thinking, why don't superhero movies explore more genres? We cry for a musical, for a rock opera. Every year, once a year we do it. And this is not at all the section of superhero adjacent film that I thought was going to go into it. But I don't know. I applaud the audacity. I don't know if it'll be like a full wall-to-wall musical. But I can imagine like he has visions of this. He imagines it, dream sequences. Yeah,
sure, yeah. Who knows? It's definitely a bold move if they end up going that route, which is interesting considering Warner Media and DC Comics have all had these like big shakeups since the merger with Discovery. And some of the recent execs have been like, that Joker movie, DC needs to make more movies like that. Whereas everyone else was like, oh, God, please, no. That movie was depressing and not.
I still haven't seen it. It hasn't been made clear to me if I'm supposed to see it or not. But that movie, wanting a movie to be like that movie could mean so many different things. It could be more dour. It could be more realistic. Sure, yeah. It could be just, let's try something way out there. Let's take a singular character, pull them out of context, put them in a new context, and see what we get. Let's really try something super out there, slightly prestige-y. Won an Oscar for that.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know what the approach is. I have no context for any of this. I just like musical numbers. And I don't think I love the idea of knowing ahead of time that I will see a musical number in a movie that isn't explicitly a musical.
Right. Yeah.
This hasn't happened since Eternals. We knew Eternals was going to have the big Kingo dance number and we got it and it was good. But more often, I want this to happen. I want Hollywood to have like a requirement of, we need to have 25 musical numbers in film this year. And we've got like 2 musicals we're making. And that's only going to account to like 24 numbers altogether. So there's one musical number that some other movie has to take.
Yeah.
Somebody has to take this. One of you, put this in. What if you fit in a musical number right now?
We wanted more genres. We wanted bigger steps. We wanted a musical. This is not what we wanted. Moving on, though, in more like comic book adaptions, Paper Girls was announced to be coming out July 29th. I don't remember if I mentioned this one if that's made it into the show last week or not.
I don't think so.
But I wanted to put it in here again just in case, because I really, really enjoy that comic. July 29th is real soon. We still haven't seen a full trailer. We've only seen pictures. So we should be getting a trailer soon, I hope, but this will be on Amazon Prime. It's a time traveling sci-fi comic book series about these 4 girls who are paper girls in the 1980s. And they go on this like time traveling adventure. If you like stuff like Adventures in Babysitting or Stranger Things or stuff like that, it is that. It is this. And it is written by one of my favorite comic creators, Brian K. Vaughan. And art is by Cliff Chang. The art in that book is gorgeous. It's so good. But yeah, I'm super stoked for this show. So July 29th, Paper Girls coming to Amazon Prime.
Look for it.
Melissa, I know you're excited about this next one here. We got a title for Knives Out 2? I don't know. So when I saw this, it was a tweet that was all in Japanese.
Oh my God.
It must have been like the Japanese Netflix account or something like that. I forget what exactly. But yeah, it was essentially Netflix announcing that Knives Out 2 has a title that comes before that. Called Glass Onion.
Yeah.
A Knives Out story or something like that. Melissa, what is this?
Knives Out presents Glass Onion. Calm down. Calm down.
I will not be calm. This is ridiculous. What is this? Why not just Knives Out 2?
I don't know why not Knives Out 2. I don't know why it's not called Two Knives, Two Out. It's right? Rian Johnson's own personal judgment, and I trust it. But I think this is a movie that I think was never designed to like be a franchise. I think it was just a big surprise hit, and he's like, I can come up with more stuff for that guy to do. So he didn't have like a series of like legacy titles in mind. So he probably just named it after a song he's been listening to a lot, a song that's in the movie. It is a Beatles song.
Benoit Blanc listened to a lot of music when he's solving, like, what wasn't
he has listened to at least one song. Okay. I feel like like Ana de Armas goes and does something. He like sits in the car and he listens to a song and he sings and he like thinks about donuts. And I think the Glass Onion, as we all do, right?
True.
I like to think we're connected by a red string of fate, and every time Ana de Armas is accomplishing an important errand, I'm just thinking about a donut. That's probably true. She's very busy, and I'm very hungry. But I think about the Glass Onion. I have not re-listened to the song. I don't think I've heard it in years. But I think about that as the parallel to his donut hole metaphor. And if an onion was made out of glass, it's something where like you can see through it. You know there's a center there. You know there are layers, but you like can't get to the thing at the inside without breaking stuff on the outside. Like you have to just like maybe it's a case. Onions. We all know this. You're very green. You know, you feel it. You feel the ogre spirit. You're an ogre saint. I said this before.
I have a green drink in my Hulk.
Oh my God!
Cup. Everything is.
What are you drinking? Ecto Cooler in a Hulk cup?
It's you know those like Mio like drink things you can squirt in there. It's that stuff. Yeah.
But I wonder if this will be a case of Benoit Blanc having to like going to this group of people who are involved in a case. And he feels that he really has to break them to get to whatever is at the center. And maybe it's like a challenge he appreciates, or maybe he's like, oh, I feel like I'm really hurting these people's feelings digging into their personal lives. And I kind of feel bad about it in this circumstance. Who knows?
By the end of the movie, he realizes that he is the glass onion. That we are the Walking Dead. Right?
I really look forward to hearing Daniel Craig say glass onion in his Kentucky accent.
What a glass onion here. What we got here is a glass onion.
That's very Texan. He sounds like straight up a Colonel Sanders. Like he could have been in one of those commercials after like Reba McEntire. The next Colonel Sanders. It's just Benoit Blanc. It's just Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc as Colonel Sanders. That's the real glass onion.
Oh man. There you go. That's the update with Knives Out 2. That's kind of it for non-movie or non-Netflix stuff.
That is Netflix.
I guess that is Netflix. So I guess that may have been somewhere in Geeked Week. I don't know.
How do you feel about them calling it Geeked Week?
It's probably better than just calling it Tadum, like Tadum Con. Where are you going?
Tadum.
I'm going to Tadum Con. Because it just sounds like you're saying I'm going to DumbCon.
You came up with this so readily. Was this an idea somebody had thrown out?
They have like a blog called Tadum. And it's like Tadum, because that's the sound that it makes. It's Tadum. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that is in their lexicon of stuff. But it's probably better than that. I don't like that it's geeked. Like it's past tense. Like, hey, you've been geeked.
Quite.
Like, I just want it to be like Netflix Geek Week.
Right.
Like
that is much
rolls
cleaner.
Off the tongue. Yeah. Whereas Geeked Week does not. That's a thing.
It's solid enough phrase. Geek Week, sure. But there's nothing about it that if I saw it out of context, I would say, that's the week when Netflix give us all these trailers. That's what Geek Week means.
Well, I know they've done it this year and last year. I don't know if they did it the year before that, but it's a fairly new thing that Netflix is like, hey, we'll have a week-long event. We'll have a stream each day, do all these announcements, show all these trailers and updates and stuff like that. And I like that. Like, I like the idea behind that. I don't think they need a whole week to do it all. But that's just me. But yeah, so they have all sorts of stuff that they announced.
They probably have more than a day's worth, but there's no shorter amount of days than 1 and 5. There's no name for a unit of 3 days.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm at a loss here. I don't know. But yeah,
they gotta get their geeks on it. They invent this new word. We could really use it.
It's a geeked week. That's what a unit of 3 days is, a geeked week. I don't know, except it was actually 5 days. That being said, though, we will take a quick break to do some housekeeping, and then when we get back, we will dive into Netflix Geeked Week and talk about some of the things that we liked. So we'll be right back. We put a lot of hard work into the shows that we make, and yes, we make multiple different shows here at The Whatnots, and we'd love it if you check them all out. You can find out more information on our website at thewhatnots.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in The Whatnots, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. If you want to support what we do here at The Whatnots, patreon.com/thewhatnots is the best place to do that. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. You can get all kinds of exclusive content at the $3 tier. You can also get a shout out and a thank you on all of our shows at the $5 tier. You can support us on Twitch by subscribing to our channel at twitch.tv/thewhatnots, and we would love to have you all join us for our live streams and talk with us in the chat. And lastly, we have merch. If you'd like to grab yourself a shirt or a sweatshirt or a mug or something else, go to thewhatnots.com/store to pick up some merch today. And we are back. A big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for supporting us. It means a ton. Yes, thank you. We appreciate it. Cool things that we've been up to here at the Whatnots. Like we said, Miss Marvel is on Disney Plus. Number 2 just dropped this week. We did our reactions to that. It's up on our YouTube channel. It's up on the Reactor Core as a podcast. That show is fantastic. Please go check it out, and then go watch our reaction review discussion thing, because it was a lot of fun. I have a question. Yes, Melissa from thewhatnots.com. What is your question?
Why does software drop but art? Why does software launch but art drops? Like, if there's a new app, the app launches. If there's a new streaming platform that, like, HBO Max has launched and they have dropped a new episode of Peacemaker.
Interesting.
Why doesn't a TV show get to be launched?
I feel like it's maybe the interactivity. I wonder if that has, like, it's a much more passive thing to just sit there and watch a movie or watch a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right, you click to turn it on, and then you're
interact with.
Yeah, and then you're done clicking for a while. Okay.
I have no idea.
Is it meant to it like imply the like drop the mic sort of action? Like, boom, you're looking for this.
Boom, you looking for this?
Right, here it is. Talk about it. We're gonna disappear. We're gonna fly away, and we're gonna come back and drop something else on you next week, like a bunch of Dharma supplies.
Drop a new episode of the Captain's Log next week. Yeah, so that's about it for housekeeping. All of that stuff that I'll mention for right now. So Netflix Geeked Week. Let's dive into this. The first thing we have to talk about is we finally got a trailer for 1899. Now, most of you out there are probably like, what the hell is that? What? 1899? Who cares? But we are so excited.
You react to everything with such incredulity, whether it's yourself or you're imagining a metaphorical person at the same level of incredulity who doesn't react with any sort of mild curiosity. They hear one thing they're not familiar with. They throw their hands up immediately. They get angry. They storm out. They walk around in a circle.
That's kind of what happens. It's much more difficult nowadays to launch new IP and not be some like, oh, it's a new Marvel movie or it's a new some long running thing, right?
It can happen. It happened in Knives Out.
Sure, yeah, it still does, but it's definitely much more difficult to do all of that.
One man dreamed to ask the question, what if some knives were out? And now look where we are today.
Dream big, kids. It could happen to you. So one of my favorite television shows is Dark.
Yes.
Is a German show. We watched it on the review show. It's incredible. I loved it a lot, but as the name implies, it's a very dark show. It is heavy, maybe a little bit depressing, but it's a great sci-fi time travel story, just incredibly made. And the creators of that show eventually teased a new show that they were working on called 1899. And it's kind of like we haven't gotten much news about it until now. So we have a trailer. I'll be playing this in the go around while we talk.
Let me also bring this up. You told me this
yeah.
existed, and I haven't had the chance to click on it yet.
There
I
we
enjoyed
go.
their last sad, wet show, and I look forward to them making a sadder, wetter show.
So apparently this is something to do with a bunch of people on a boat out in the middle of the ocean, and tensions rise as things start going strange and things go awry and all that stuff. And it's people from all over the world, you know, right at the turn of the century, stuff like that. Did you want to watch this at the same time, or are you already?
I'm watching it right now.
All right, I'm gonna go.
I got my eyes on it.
This one here, but yeah, it just the level of detail in this looks incredible. The camera work, the outfits, the period piece, it looks great. It looks like there's intrigue, there's murder, there's just weird things happening where like there was a scene where everyone was taking a sip from a cup at the same time, and it was just like, whoa,
synchronized tea,
right?
There's like a cipher machine, there's a secret code, there's a whirlpool. I am digging this. This looks like a fun pile of ingredients.
Yeah.
And it's Dark is one of the most aesthetically stunning shows I've ever seen. Show does a lot for your brain, a lot for your eyes and ears, less for your heart. Like we said, it is an incredibly dour, dire show.
Absolutely.
Boy, howdy, is there some eye candy in there. And I really liked, even from just the 54 seconds in this trailer, getting to step back into that aesthetic again. The same warm, dark woods, deep, cool forest greens.
God, I'm so excited about this show. I cannot wait. It looks so good. So yeah, that was if you guys were watching the video version of this, you guys got to see a bit of that teaser trailer that they dropped. Next up, though, Melissa, I'm not sure how interested in this one you are, but they released a trailer for Sandman, the adaptation of the Neil Gaiman comics. Are you interested in this one?
I have always been intrigued by Sandman, but I've also been very intimidated because there's so much of it, it seems complicated. Not just in it doesn't have multiple sort of titles. There's Sandman and Sandman adjacent things, so it's not even you read one. Okay.
There are some spin-offs. There are some characters that kind of go off and do this stuff. In the this is not really spoilers, but there's at one point where the main character Morpheus, the titular Sandman,
Morpheus, the Dream Lord,
yeah, he goes and he meets Lucifer, who in the comics is meant to look like David Bowie, and eventually that character leaves and goes and does his own thing, spins off into a comic series called Lucifer, which the show Lucifer is very, very loosely based off of. So there are some tangential things, but not in a way that it's the MCU, everything is connected, right? Not that much. I've read most of the graphic novels. I kind of think they're impenetrable. I don't think they're very good.
Again, I've always wanted to know what this thing is, but I've been daunted by the prospect of reading all of what it is. So I'm happy there is going to be a show of some kind that I can watch it and hopefully understand better.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in the show. I will be checking this out because it's not just a straight adaptation. It seems like they're kind of modernizing bits of it, which is interesting. I guess it's not necessarily a period piece. There might be bits of it that are, but I'm interested to see how they are adapting this. because the graphic novel series goes to some really weird and strange places. But if nothing else, I think this will be visually stunning.
Yeah.
So got some good stuff here.
I am looking at this trailer. Very pretty already.
Yeah. It looks neat. I know a lot of people are really, really excited for this. But we shall see. We shall see what happens with that one. Okay, let me bring us back over here, and there we go. After the Sandman, what do we got here? So I'm not gonna show the clip of this next one. Have you heard about this movie, The Gray Man?
I have. I did see the trailer for this one some weeks ago.
Yeah, they released an extended clip at Netflix Geeked Week, and it stars Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. They're two assassins kind of after each other. It seemed interesting. It seemed kind of funny. They have a weird relationship in that of just like how they are dealing with one another, trying to kill each other. Type of thing. Don't really know what to expect with that because again, it's not something I'm familiar with. So
it's produced by the Russo brothers, I think.
Oh, really?
I think I heard that, and I also think I heard it's like Netflix's most expensive movie, which I feel like they say once a year, but like, you know, I guess the number changes every year. I don't know how much more expensive this is than like, whatever Ryan Reynolds thing happened recently.
Sure,
Mini Ryans. They got a lot of Ryans in the fire.
Who knows? So besides that,
I do want to say, sorry, Ryan's in the fire. That was good work. I pat myself on the back. I didn't plan that one. I watched the trailer. The trailer looked cool, but the trailer did not impress me as much as the logo impressed me. I really liked the logo for the Gray Man. It's got this Saul Bass font to it. It's got like the target lines on it. I love this like mid-century espionage thriller aesthetic the logo has. And I didn't exactly feel that from the trailer, but I will watch the film. I'll see what I feel then. Indeed.
If I'm not mistaken, that's coming out soon. I think in a couple weeks here. If not sooner than that. Apparently there was a teaser for Lock and Key season 3, which if I'm not mistaken will also unfortunately be its last season.
Oh.
It did not. They're canceling it beyond that. I highly recommend the graphic novels of that. That series is so imaginative. It's incredible. It's a great show. It's the show itself, I feel like, has a hard time knowing what it wants to do with itself. Is it a kid show? Is it not? Is it meant for teenagers? Is it more of an adult show? Like it kind of goes back and forth in between that, and I don't know if it really serves that show well. But we got a teaser for that one. I like it, so I'm excited for that. Then we got a teaser for Wednesday, the new Addams Family spinoff. I think it was only like a 30-second teaser that showed off the titular character of Wednesday. And what's the Hands character name? The Hand thing. I think he was in there too. They announced that apparently season 2 of Sweet Tooth just wrapped up production. So I'm excited to see season 2 of that. That's based off of a comic book by Jeff Lemire that I really enjoy.
Good for Jeff. Jeff's work's getting busy out there.
Sure is. Yeah. I think we mentioned last week that he has another one being adapted.
Yeah, an Essex County show.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool indeed. Wendell and Wild is a new stop motion movie being co-written by Jordan Peele which looked interesting. I'm kind of excited about that one. Of course, Jordan
I like that
Peele
blurb.
has Nope running out there. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So,
do we have any sort of genre or anything for this? He is a man with skills in many genres. I'm curious what this one might be.
Let's see. So I'm looking at a blurb from IGN here that says, that says Jordan Peele, known for his horror films like Get Out, is co-writing a new stop-motion film about a young girl who stumbles across some paranormal activity in her school. The teaser shows her opening a drawer to discover a teddy bear who appears to have been corrupted. The movie is coming to Netflix this October.
I like that. I like that turn of phrase, like not like a haunted teddy bear, a cursed teddy
corrupted.
bear. A corrupted teddy bear. Right?
Yeah. Indeed. So yeah, I'm interested in that one. And then last but not least, Junji Ito's Maniac is coming to Netflix. This one could be interesting. They obviously couldn't just name it Maniac because that name is already taken on Netflix. Yeah. But it's a new horror anthology series based on his grotesque horror stories and the manga that he makes. He makes some great stories, just some interesting stuff. So I'm really excited to see what they do with his manga and his short stories and stuff like that. That should be fun.
I've read the Mystery of Amigara Fault, I think might be its name. You know, the one where the people find the holes in the side of the mountain that are shaped wall. Like them, and they go into the hole, and they disappear into the mountain.
Made for me. It's shaped like me. I belong in this hole.
That's it. That's no joke, folks. That's what the story is. And it's like a short story. I think I just Googled it and found it. I've never read any of his other work. I'd really like to. We'll have to remember this come October when it's time for spooky review show pitches.
Yeah. Back on the Whatnots podcast, our first version of the review show, now defunct, or the Whatnots podcast is now defunct. Yeah,
Phoenixed.
The Whatnots review show is the reborn version of that. But back on the Whatnots podcast, we covered Uzumaki, which is one of his more well-known stories about a town that gets obsessed with spirals, which sounds ridiculous, but yeah, it's terrifying and yeah, good stuff. He makes some fantastic things there. So that's kind of all the stuff that I wanted to point out. There was a ton more that they announced, a bunch more trailers. Netflix is also trying to get into the video game space. They announced a few video games based off of their IP. They have a chess game that is coming out based on oh god, what's it called? What's her name?
It's Chess Girl and Friends.
Chess Girl, the chess show, that one. You know what I mean?
Queen's Gambit. I look forward to the Queen's Gambit themed chess game. Yeah. I like that somebody just made, like, there's no need to make a new chess game. It's chess. We've got them. We can go play Kasparov's Gambit still. But I like that they're like, no, you need a new one. You need Anya Taylor-Joy's face on it.
Indeed. I mean, yeah, it's like a regular chess game. There's all the stuff that you might expect if you just want to play actual chess. But then you can also do a bit of like a story mode thing where you play as her.
You're hooked on pills now.
Right? And you can challenge the people that she played, and you get up to her big tournament.
I do like that.
So that's neat. Yeah. They announced a game based off of La Casa de Papel. aka Money Heist, stuff like that. And then they had some like third party things coming to this service. I know in the past year or so, Netflix has bought a couple game studios to help them develop some things. So yeah, they are trying to get into the gaming space. So they had a bunch of announcements based on that. They had a bunch of announcements. Like if you like that Castlevania show, there's a new spinoff on that show. That show Arcane, which is based off of League of Legends. People really, really like that show. Even ones that don't play League of Legends, they did like a behind the scenes on that for like, hey, we don't really have anything to show for season 2 yet, but here's the behind the scenes thing, how we made season 1.
Nice.
All sorts of stuff. So I like the idea of Netflix taking, whether it's a week or a single day or a 3-day span, right, that they had like, hey, here's all of our announcements, similar to like D23, like, hey, here's all our Marvel announcements, here's all our Star Wars.
That is nice.
Like, I like that they make an event out of like, here is the time that we give you all the big updates and stuff like that. That's really cool to me. It makes me excited.
Yeah. So. I like having good news to look forward to. And in a world where there's a lot of bad news, I like that this pop culture news is structured in such a way that it does feel like a big special event. You know when you can expect it. You know that you might have this energy pulsing throughout an entire week, intense geek energy. Indeed.
Well, that's kind of all I have for this week of stuff. We had a few more things on our list, but we can bump those to next week or something.
Thank you for bringing real pop culture news. I just wanted to talk about seeing some little kids dance. I did also see Jurassic World Dominion. Probably should have led with that instead of the children's dance recital.
Well, how was Jurassic World Dominion?
It's what you expect it to be.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it checks the boxes. There's dinosaur action. You see your old friends. Not a lot of BD Wong, but high quality BD Wong.
Good.
Very important to the plot. He wears a sweater, looks very cold.
Yeah. Good stuff. My parents were interested in seeing it. And then as I was talking about it, realized that it I mentioned that this is basically the 6th one, and they didn't realize that. They didn't know that this was like the 3rd in a new trilogy. Right? So they were just like, oh, I guess we haven't seen the other ones. So
I would you spend a good amount of time with doctors Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Ian Malcolm, but it's not an overwhelming amount in the movie. I imagine it would benefit you greatly to have seen Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom before you do this.
Yeah.
Oh, a wild thing that happened to me when I was watching this movie. There's a scene where one of the characters is like in a government office, like he's working for like the Government Bureau of Monitoring Dinosaurs or whatever. And like the guy sitting at the desk next to him is just like quips something, and Jack freaks out in the theater next to me, and I'm like, what's happening? And she's like, I went to college with that guy.
That's amazing. I've had a moment like that too. There was a guy that was on my dance crew back in college, who then like moved up to New York and got into like modeling and acting and stuff like that. And I saw him in season 2 of Daredevil. He's an extra in that, and I was just like, what?
Wow!
And I had to be like, is this you? That's you, isn't it? He was like, I cannot confirm or deny. I was like, that's a confirmation to me. So that was
one
neat.
time. a high school classmate of ours was a seat filler at the Tony Awards.
There you
And
go.
I don't know if I still have this blurry photo of like Billy Porter in the foreground, John O'Brien in the background.
That's funny. Two things real fast before we wrap up. So you guys kind of saw, you guys were watching the video version of the podcast. You kind of saw what the last update that I mentioned was to the podcast. Remember back in the day when we switched to like I had a browser on screen and our cameras would go small into the corner, and then when I went away, put them back up. We have a new setup very similar to that. So when I go to a browser page, like our cameras slide in and change dimensions and all that stuff, and the logo moves and the browser slides in, all of that stuff. It's neat. I like it a lot. On top of that, something I haven't really gotten the chance to utilize on this one, because this is the first one that we got to do it in. I now have it so that if we're on a browser and we need to zoom in on something, I can now zoom in on my mouse and it will follow my mouse as it goes across the screen here and all of that stuff. And then I can go back to it just being normal, and then go back to us as a podcast doing that thing. So that's neat. I'm happy that it's now not just like hard cut or like fade into that stuff, but it looks neat. Like things slide and move. It's like, ooh, this is fancy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about that. And then last but not least, I briefly kind of mentioned it earlier in the podcast, but in 2 weeks is our annual trivia night. We will be recording that. I believe it's the night of the 30th. Yeah. A Thursday. Man, that's the last day of the month. So June 30th, we will be recording our annual trivia night. If you guys did not know, we live stream our podcast on Twitch at twitch.tv/thewhatnots. We will be live at 8 p.m. Central Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I guess that's what, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Wild. You can watch us while you eat dinner. Eat your In-N-Out burger, as all Californians do once a week. And watch us.
And you can watch us have our trivia night. It's not necessarily interactive with all of you guys or that stuff, but it is fun to see either how good or how bad we are at trivia. It's a blast. I think Ignacio will be joining us for that too. We got to bone up on our science, Kyle. Ignacio brings the science and we don't know how to respond to it. Indeed. He's a big trivia fan, so he has a lot of knowledge stored up in there, and he's an electrical engineer, so he's extra smart. Right. So asking us questions about batteries and things, and I'm like, I tried to research McDonald's pies. I'm not prepared. There you go. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Get excited. Come watch it live. If you want to do that stuff. If not, then of course this will be up on YouTube and as a podcast shortly after, so you guys can just check it out then. But yeah, that is kind of it for stuff this week. Ran a little bit longer than normal. That's it for stuff. No more stuff. No more things. But yeah. So Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet? You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities, show where me and my brother Jams talk about weird old kids shows you feel like only you remember. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at The Whatnots, we are at The Whatnots on Twitter. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. If you guys could spread the word, that would be great. But that's it. Number 193 of the Whatnots Captain's Log. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.